Hello there and welcome once again. This is Third Eye Africa TV and we are at the Central Business District in Abuja. The program is Democracy in Action. Like it's always said, there are always ingredients in democracy, ingredients for democracy. And of course, they happen to be the very basic when it comes to democratic governance. But somewhere, somehow, like northern Nigeria, some people are not feeling so happy. Not some people are feeling not so happy that the north appears to be lagging behind when it comes to some other regions in this country, regions as they were those days, even though Nigeria has been merged into one. But how is it like in the north? Well, we're talking about out of school syndrome, quite a lot of them. Are we talking of insecurity? Quite a lot of them. Many other things. Hunger staring many people on their faces. And we want to look at that. Should there be a kind of airy emergence of what they call northern Nigeria? Of course, some people feel yes, there should be. And that's why we have an analyst. Do I call him a political doctor who will do an x-ray as to what is happening in northern Nigeria? And therefore, look, experts came out with a workshop and a symposium, a kind of a summit. The theme was reimagining the North, media, productive power, and the making of the next northern Nigeria. The making of the next northern Nigeria, which means there is a vision for something because something is not working fine. Let me welcome my guests. I'm talking of MOHMOOD Tunde Hassan. He has a PhD, but he's so quiet about it. When some people are clamoring and getting fake PhDs, trying to be like him, but he's running away from all of that. My name is Ben Shaman, your regular host on this program, as I welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benjamin. It's nice being here.
Thank you very much. Now, let's look at it this way. Why should there be a reimagining of northern Nigeria?
See, if you look at the existential realities of northern Nigeria, it has reached the elastic point. It needs to rewind, rethink its position within the context of the mainstream Nigeria. A lot is happening within mainstream Nigeria. The North consistently is playing catch up. Every index of development, especially the HDI, Human Development Index, the North is playing catch up. In terms of education, catch up. Healthcare delivery, catch up. Infrastructure, catch up. Social consciousness about what is good for society, catch up. But more critically, the North is having a situation where northern Nigeria, let me use it more appropriately, not just North, because when you say North, it's like you're restricting it to a geographical expression. But northern Nigeria as a political, socio-economic construct, which is more critical to this conversation, is playing catch up. Consciousness, we're losing the moral basis to provide leadership for this country. Fact check me. The North is perhaps the biggest regional bloc, not just in Nigeria, but in the context of African country. The North, one state in the North, the population of one state in the North, take Kano for instance, take Maiduguri, take Sokoto, one state in the North accounts for more, in some cases, more than 2-3 countries in Africa. So as a regional bloc, it is strong. But you have a situation where everything in the North has remained potentials. You need to begin to rethink and moving this potential to something more concrete, more beneficial, something more existential to affect the lived realities of the people. We can't have a lived reality of marginality. We can't have a lived reality of poverty. We can't have a lived reality of insecurity. We can't have a lived reality of waste of massive resource base. So, reimagining the North is a reawakening of looking at beyond potentialities, converting these potentialities to positive and purposeful results that has positive impact on the lived realities of Nigerians and of people in the northern part of Nigeria. Also take the numbers. Northern Nigeria, with 19 states, makes up more than half the population of Nigeria, well over 100 million, 120, 130 million people. By some estimates, even 150, though those are just projections. Now, that is huge. In terms of land mass, arable land, natural gift from God, hydrocarbon, everything is here in the north. Agrarian land, everything. Look at the sun, look at the wind, massive, and then look at human capital. We have the people, we have the number, but this number has not been scaled up to become a resource. We need to begin to focus on that. Rather than complaining and brooding and playing catch up with the rest of the country, the North needs to set its narrative right, control the narrative, and deliver it for the good of the larger Nigeria. Everything said about the North was not created by the North, please. All the stories spawn around northern Nigeria when narratives spawn by other parts of the country. Now, the North merely defends and reacts to it rather than creating, curating, controlling it, and setting the path and being deliberate and intentional about it. Okay. So yes, there is a challenge to reimagine the North for the good of the North, the good of northern Nigeria, but more purposefully for the good of Nigeria.
Now, in my introductory remarks, I deliberately left out something.
Yeah.
I want that to come from you. Who are the brains behind this, the think tank? Because, I mean, we've always been hearing about Arewa Consultative Forum, this forum and all that. The time is always, marking time. At the point they go accusing themselves as even frauds here and there within the North. When you're talking about a catch-up, other regions are moving, Put all the senior advocates of Nigeria in the North. They are not up to some 2 local governments in Ondo State.
That's it.
So it's the same catch-up. So who are these brains behind this? The need for a reemergence of northern Nigeria.
Let me put the record straight. This is done by the Liberty Media Group. But beyond the micro expression of the Media Liberty Group, taking it as a responsibility to begin to generate new narrative, there is also a growing realization that the media in the northern part of Nigeria is also a reactive media. It's not defining and setting the agenda like it used to be. The media in northern Nigeria used to be quite intellectual, quite purposeful, quite spirited in terms of what is good for the people. Along the line, it missed it. So there is a new consciousness that the media in this country must retrace itself to that preeminent position of designing the narrative and controlling the narrative. Because, take it or not, the media must scale up beyond episodic reportage of events, of situations. It must become contextual. It must be more future focused. But more critically, it must stand for truth. And it must define an interest. All this boogie of media objectivity, yes, it's good to aspire for it, but objectivity is a facade. You need to be able to look at what is going on around you and tell your stories by yourself. If you don't tell your story, others will tell the story. How do you want people to look at you? How do you want the rest of Nigeria to look at you? And what is the perception? Let me put it this way. The media is perception capital. In the rest of the world, look at what happened between Iran and the United States. Everybody gave it to the United States to trounced Iran. But look at the story. Because everything that we know about the United States is about narrative. It's a narrative control, narrative spinning, and creating an image about yourself that may not even be real. But we are saying that if the North is a strong narrative capital, perception capital, that creates the impression about you, that creates the perception about you in terms of what you're capable of, what you can do, what you cannot do, why are you not telling the rest of the world, the rest of Nigeria, and the global space who you are, how you want to be seen?
Okay.
So, in terms of who is putting this together, it's a reawakening within the media space in northern Nigeria that you've been playing catch up for too long. You have become reactive in everything. The stories are spun around you. You merely react to it. Why are you not telling your stories? Why are you not telling your stories about your strengths, about your weakness? Not be in denial about your weaknesses. The North has its own weakness. You have a fragmented leadership, for instance. You have a leadership that is in denial about, you no longer have a monolithic North. It is not as if it's still one North in the way it used to be 40, 50 years ago. It's a diverse arrangement of the about 370 ethnic collectives in Nigeria. By the way, I don't use the word tribe. We have ethnic collectives in Nigeria, social consciousness, ethnic constructs that we have. More than 270 is from northern Nigeria. Now, this enormous diversity also offers enormous potentials, enormous strength. Why are we not looking at the strength and looking at this diversity as a source of strength? Diversity of economic resource,
yes.
and all whatnot.
Yes. Now, before we go into politics, before you go into sharing of the usual national cake, now let's do a self-searching, the media itself in the North. I mean, if you're talking of the private media, apparently, I'll just call them re-emergence. If we had the federal government or northern Nigeria with New Nigerian, it has since gone extinct. Okay. Look at any other one, even private, the Democrats of this world, you know, Sentinel, just continue to name them. They all have gone, you know, always relying on God. But when you compare that with the Southwest, look at Awolowo's paper. Before independence, it is still here. Look at Punch, it is still here. Look at Vanguard, it's still here. But northern Nigeria, once it is the newspaper industry, it's just today that maybe leadership, maybe trust can kind of wipe the face of northern Nigeria. So, who therefore fights for the North without the media?
That's it. You see, that is where we're getting it wrong. I said at a point, the northern Nigeria provided intellectual direction for the media in this country. I mean, just name them. The Analyst, Democrat, The Republic, New Nigeria set the tone for the conversation within the public space. But today, all of them are under the bus. Under the bus. Give me one strong northern broadcast station. We have fragmentation all over. We have so many small operations that amount to nothing. Take the entire political economy of the media. Advertising earning. The advertising space, the advertising economy in Nigeria is well over 650 billion. Fact check me, Mr. Benjamin. Less than 15% of that is coming to the northern Nigeria. And there's a new statistics. The North has the numbers. The North provides eyeballs, the audience. But these numbers are not translating to capital for the media. That is because the northern media, the northern political establishment, the northern economic establishment has gone to sleep. You are very reticent. You are not bold, you are not intentional, you are not deliberate. You see money walking on the street. Most northern Nigerians are very dedicated to listening to radio. So they provide the audience but when it comes to earning from that huge number that is donated to the media audienceship in this country. Nothing comes to the north.
Good.
Take northeast of Nigeria.
Yes.
Advertising earning is less than 1.3% of the entire advert earning.
See, I initially, my first question was that of the print media.
Yes.
Now that
It's
you've
larger,
also dived
it's larger than
into
the print media.
electronic.
Yes.
Now that you've gone into the electronic, if channels will tell you they are running towards 2 billion viewers, 2 billion viewers, that's channels alone. You know, it also tells you where people should advertise. You find governors in northern Nigeria, they have documentaries, they have programs to showcase. Of course, they go where the viewing population is. So how do you change this narrative whereby, okay, the Katsina governor, Zamfara governor, Borno, you have this, okay, let's go to TVC. Let's go to channels. Let's go to Arise TV. Now, again, northern Nigeria is impoverished information-wise. How do you correct this?
You see, the problem is not the media. You're talking about billions in terms of viewership for some of the stations.
Excuse me. Just a moment. Okay,
where is the viewership coming from?
Well, let me learn this.
Yes.
Viewership will come via integrity of programming, via believability, the content and all that, and sometimes even the personnel on ground that are doing all of this. But in the north, if therefore some people, you have a state-run TV, a state government on TV, okay, Atiku has Gotel. Why is Gotel not measuring up to Arise?
You see,
why is it not? So,
when we're looking at it this way,
yes.
You see, we need to put the numbers in perspective. When you mention those huge numbers in terms of viewership for certain media platforms in the country, where is the concentration of that number? Lagos is huge. Today, the Ibadan-Lagos media, axis of the media, is in control of everything. It's just like a cabal. Now, do you think it's solely because of programming content that people go to that place? This programming content, yes, but the choice to go is an individual choice. Those platforms that are patronized even by northern interests. I'm not saying don't patronize others. I'm not saying that. I am saying that there is still a deficit of realization that the media is power. Media is narrative power. Media is perception power. And it is when you are in control of what people see you when you're in control of how people see you, or whether they see you the way you want to be seen, whether they see you the way it's beneficial to you, that is what gravitates resource to you. If perpetually you are not in control, let me give you the typical scenario of the regular full day man, a Fulani man. The Fulani man today walks the length and breadth of this country with knife, right? And his traditional, original purpose for going about with that knife is to get leave for his herd, not to hurt people. So he goes to the mangrove area of Nigeria, the southern part of Nigeria, southwest part of Nigeria. There isn't even enough grass in the northeast, southeast part of Nigeria. But in the southwest parts of Nigeria, there's enough tall trees. The cattle cannot get the leaf. It has no access to the leaf. So the Fulani man needs to cut the leaf from the tree to feed his cattle. But I'm saying that what is the logic of moving cattle from north to the south of Nigeria when you have grass on the ground for cattle to eat here? The man in Lagos, the whole of Lagos, fact check me, Mr. Benjamin, on a daily basis, you slaughter between 5,000 and 6,000 cows in Lagos alone. And on each head of cow that you slaughter, you pay 10,000 naira. That's free money. We're not talking about the entire value chain. But the man in Lagos doesn't want your cow. I hope you know that. The man in Lagos wants the meat, just like you get meat from other parts of the world, corned beef and the rest of them, from Denmark, from the Netherlands, from the US, from UK. You bring it to Nigeria in can. What is stopping the man from the north to husband the cattle here and get the value chain down. So who is telling the story?
So why is the media lagging behind in the north? So, okay, instead of ferrying your cow from north south in search of a greener pasture,
good.
where you also meet the tata fly,
And
where you can
bees.
also, cage them, bring the food to them. They are fatter, they get meat, they get more milk and all that stuff.
That's
Hide
why
and skin and all that.
That's
So
why we need to
where
start
is the media in this?
change the narrative. Understand that perception is power. Perception is capital. Perception is like, it's the same thing. Today they say you have money in the bank. It's really no big deal. Data is the new gold, right? Your numbers are nothing if you don't add value to those numbers. The population of northern Nigeria is huge and humongous, but we're just beyond people. Have you turned those people into resource? It's the same thing with the media. The media must begin to learn that you need to tell your story. You need to spin your narrative. If you don't tell your stories, others will narrate you. Will narrate you. Just like I gave you the instance of the Fulani man. They will tell your story. They will tell you from how they see you. It depends on what you put on the table.
Absolutely.
So, good.
Many of us lived in Lagos.
Yes.
I've spent so much time in the southwestern part of Nigeria.
Okay, let me give you this.
Then to the east, just a moment.
Yes.
We're talking about perception in
Perception.
By the time you see someone from the north, you are just, you are supposed to be pushing one wheelbarrow somewhere.
That is it.
Mola. Shine shoes.
Good.
You know?
What is the meaning of what is the meaning
daddy, they call
in Hausa linguistic, culturally? What is aboki? Please tell me. What is aboki?
Aboki means a friend.
Friend.
Ordinarily.
So, from the point of view of the northern Nigerian, aboki is something positive. It's a friend. A friend, for crying out loud. But to the man in the southern part of Nigeria, aboki is a low life. Aboki doesn't mean friend.
In fact, they can even call him cow, malu.
Good. It's not. But are we saying that? Why are we not making them realize that? Why is northern Nigeria not making the man in southern part of Nigeria realize that when you call me aboki, I embrace you to full chest, that you're calling me a friend, instead of being denigrated by it?
Look at the other cliche, the term, malam.
Malam. What is
that
malam?
Is supposed to be a teacher.
Teacher.
But now they say mola.
Yes. Even mola is mu'alim.
So
it's Arabic.
The meaning
so it has been changed. It is now derogatory. Who is countering that? Who is telling them, yes, you call me malam or mola or whatever. Mola is Arabic, it's mu'alim, right? It's the same thing as malam. It's a teacher, a professor, somebody who has high intellect, right? But when you say malam today, it's a low life. It's somebody who is uneducated. That is from the perspective, I said, if you do not narrate yourself, you'll be narrated.
Now, you see, those are the political class,
yes,
even though we are now shifting discussion a bit, but this is media related. You meet a governor, okay, you are from Jigawa State Media Service, you are from Kano State Media Service, Sokoto State Government Media Service. The governors will never, always, ever go there to be interviewed. Okay, someone, I'm from the BBC, I'm Deutsche Welle, I'm Radio France International. You know, you see them, in fact, usher them, Kaosu, let them come in.
For the entire political class,
yes,
the entire political class in northern Nigeria have this status complex. Status complex. They have this thing of, I'll call it inferiority complex. They think that, I go in front, tell me, the microphone you're using in Third Eye, how different is it from the microphone that the channels of this world, the TVCs of this world, or any other stations, CNNs BBC of this world, BBC, Deutsche Welle, how different are these microphones? The cameras, the 4K cameras or whatever you're using in the studio, how different are they from the ones that RFI or Al Jazeera? It's the same equipment that you're using. But you have this status complex from the entire political and economic class in northern Nigeria. You relinquish your position in the national scheme of things and make yourself a backbencher. And make yourself a catch-up person. A man from Zamfara, a man from Sokoto, a man from far-flung Ilela in Sokoto, or Unguru in Yobe, or Kwande, for instance, in Benue. What is it doing with a station that, or a news outlet that the man he's supposed to relate with doesn't even have access to? What does a man from Zamfara, one from an LTV, Lagos TV, for instance, the man in Sokoto and Gusau has no access to that. So because of this complex that the political leadership in northern Nigeria has about status, it's a warped status, warped orientation of status that we see in northern Nigeria. The economic class, the entire economic class in this country, the buying power in terms of number is in northern Nigeria.
Now, sorry to interject. This same scenario where you have some state media-owned state media organizations. Take the case of Kaduna State. The radio station in Kaduna hardly reaches Zaria, not to talk of Makarfi. It hardly can reach Kachia, not to talk of Kafanchan, or even Kwai that is close to Kefi here. You know, and you expect those people to perform wonders. Why are they not on satellite like any other?
Good. So it's because you're shooting yourself in the foot. I've consistently maintained that media is power, but the power comes from your capacity to understand that power and therefore ability to use it. When you have a media, a radio station or a television or outfit or a newspaper outfit owned by government in northern Nigeria, and then when it comes to budgeting, you are at the bottom end of the food chain. What magic will you perform? Secondly, when it comes to media buy, the purchase, I take my money. Mr. Benjamin is selling a scribbler, paper. But I take my money to go to the other person. How do you grow when you that is close to me, I see you as I don't pay for services that you render. Rather, I see you as you must, in fact, as we have this entitlement mentality about media services in northern Nigeria. The establishment, the people in government, the business class think that, okay, it's already ours. It's just like that attitude we have about water. Water is God-given. Yes, it's God-given, but you must purify it. You must render services to keep it hygienic. But we think we should not pay for it. The point I'm making is that northern Nigeria, at whatever level, is the least appreciative of what it has. And we must change that narrative. We must reimagine northern Nigeria for all its strength, for all its capacity to be a strong player within mainstream Nigeria.
Okay.
If you don't do that, you continue to play catch-up.
Doctor, even though he doesn't want it announced, but I have said it, Dr. Mahmood Tunde Hassan is a political strategist, a communications expert. We'll go on a short break. My name is Ben Shemang. The station is Third Eye Africa TV. The program is Democracy in Action. And when we do come back, look, the North with this huge, humongous population, to what extent is it being used positively? Is it just to get election, people get elected? What do you give them in return? We're seeing all sorts of millions of people, children, out of school syndrome in millions. Put the population of out of school syndrome in the North. They are the population of Togo and Benin Republic put together. Big fire awaiting northern Nigeria, humanity in general. We'll come to all of that as we go on this very short break.
The first reason why matters are prolonged and thereby having cold files, according to you, is because poorness of investigation. Other reasons why we have cold files are the procedural system in our adversarial adjudication.
Interference on the part of the government. That interference is the one that usually become a backlog in the wheel of prosecution counsel.
No matter how stupid any corrupt man is, if he's going with billions of naira, be sure that he will have part of that billion aside to fight and defend the corruption. Part of the defense is protraction, delay of the trial.
The politicization in Nigeria is one of the core problems bedeviling our legal system. In election matters, we hardly get settled principle. They change by the day because there is political interference. Our system is structured in a way that if our prosecutory bodies want to work, the work is easy. But what I believe is if, for instance, they don't genuinely intend to prosecute, if it's just to persecute the person, they want you to just stay in prison, do the media trial, presenting that this person is being charged for this, charged for that. I think sometimes it's a case of the prosecutor being responsible and the person being prosecuted also being responsible.
This is where we focus critically on numerous unresolved cases in the Nigerian and African judiciaries. My name is Charles Agedu. Join me on Code Files, a chronology of unresolved crime cases, only on Third Eye Africa TV.
Welcome back. We've been discussing with our guests, talking of Dr. Tunde Hassan, political strategists, communication experts, and analysts of note. My name is Ben Shaman, and so let's look at the population of the North. Can this Northern Nigeria fit itself? Because when you look at the number of people holding bowls, just begging hand to mouth, that big population, are we using it positively? When I say are we, I'm a Northerner. I can't escape from it. Even if I were to be someone in Ogun State, I just have to say are we, because what affects the left hand affects the right hand. So how are we making this population, this huge one, how are we making use of it?
Frankly, I do not think that the North even understands, at least those who are currently running their affairs or their affairs of Northern Nigeria, do not understand the power of that population. We only see that population in terms of number. But what about the quality of that number? Quality is not, it's not just mathematics. When have you converted this mathematics to something tangible that affects that the lived realities of the people? You have enormous a number of children walking the streets as almajiri. You have enormous number of people walking the street out of school. You have enormous number of people on drug, walking the streets, becoming social miscreants, ready recruits for elements that are enemies of state, enemies of society. You have so many ungoverned spaces in Northern Nigeria. So when you say a number, what is the quality of that number? Have you scaled up that number to resource? Let's take the number of cows. We have huge numbers. From record, Northern Nigeria holds the second largest collection of cows in Africa. And the bulk of that is in Northern Nigeria. It's number, isn't it? When it comes to election, we have numbers all over, electoral numbers. To what extent have these numbers converted or been converted to positives, for purposeful positives for the people in Northern Nigeria? We still have massive acres of land uncultivated in Northern Nigeria.
And this, sorry to cut you short, these massive grounds for farming
everywhere.
Yes,
everywhere.
are now battlefields.
So we are counting the number of the dead. So when it comes to number, what is the perspective to these numbers? We're not having numbers of dead people. Killing fields everywhere. In terms of the pockets of killing fields in Northern Nigeria, it has also grown in numbers. The number of destitutes has grown. Disillusioned, frustrated, despondent people, grown. So when you talk about numbers, are they positive numbers? No, I am saying that we need to convert these numbers into strength.
Yes, one is worried Do people, governors, I mean, those in charge, they are the executive, you know, they implement the policies. Are they worried at all?
They don't seem to be. We're not confronting the truth. We're in denial. We think these numbers are just numbers for data. We're not, I will say, and I can say this with all sense of responsibility and conviction, that the leadership in the North, if there is at all, is laid back, is in denial, is not confronting the truth. And this truth, slowly and gradually, is going to blow in everybody's face. We're already seeing it. We're already seeing the number of children that are on drugs. We're already seeing the numbers of children that are socially dislocated. We are seeing numbers of people that have not been groomed to live in 21st century world.
Now, you see, former President Olusegun Obasanjo once described local governments as sharing centers.
He wasn't wrong.
Once salaries are being paid, you see staff around. 2 days, 3 days, they disappear.
Yes.
Wait for the other time. Now, all sorts of commissions, Niger Delta Development Commission, you go to Southeast, you know. Also, at the point, they also created out of northeastern part of Nigeria. They are operating here in Abuja. Now you have the northwestern part of it also created. Compare that with southwestern counterpart. They are already thinking of linking the railway, Lagos to Osun, Ondo, Ogun State, in that order. But in the north, we are talking of sharing. Cow Araba, bring it, let's share. So how do we come out of this mentality?
That's a very sad reality about northern Nigeria. Even if it is also is a reality that is also present in other parts of Nigeria. This sharing mentality, this looting, this entitlement thing that you find within the establishment and the political class and the ruling class. But it is without fear of contradiction. It is appalling in the north. We have 6 development commissions in this country. We have quite a number of, we have 774, the local governments in Nigeria, 774 local governments in Nigeria. Substantial number of them are in the northern part of Nigeria. Now, how have they made the life of the man on the street any different? When the Northwest Development Commission held its summit, its maiden summit, none of the governors in the northwest of Nigeria was at that summit. The Northeast Development Commission was the first among the 3 in northern Nigeria.
North, yes.
I think it was established in 2018 by the Buhari administration. Between then and today, what has happened? They may claim that they're making some progress. Yes, there are peculiarities in each of these
Maybe they share blankets to IDP.
You do not measure success by the number of contracts that you've awarded. You share success by the number of positives that you've impacted on the lives of the people. We still have IDP camps spread across the northern part of
in fact,
Nigeria.
since Boko Haram struck,
up till today,
many ran
we still
away. They are here in Abuja.
Yes, you find that the middle of Nigeria, because of what is happening in the upper part of Nigeria, is now congested because people are running for safety. You still have people in northern Nigeria going through this back-breaking process of tilling the land with hoe in an age of automation, which is a simple technology. Who has said that if one of the commissions said give itself a 6-month target, 6 months, that we are going to automate the hoe. Forget about big tractors. We are going to automate the hoe. Just automate the hoe. Automation is simple technology. Now, the point I'm making is that we have these interventionist agencies all over Nigeria, including in northern Nigeria. But the impact is not being felt. We do not have region-wide integration or aggregation of interests.
Now, you see, outside physical security, I mean, the use of kinetic energy to fight.
Excuse me, Mr.
now,
Benjamin, that is just optics.
Yes.
It's
Now,
just optics.
Yes.
People are
want
still dying.
Yes. We're talking about security that way. Now, let's come to food security.
Yeah.
Food insecurity. Where you want to feed a teeming population, but a 50 kg of fertilizer, it's around 50,000 naira.
That's it.
How can the North feed itself? Where are the fertilizer blending companies that used to be in the North? Almost every state had.
Everything is gone. Everything is gone.
We enjoy importation.
You have massive arable land, fertile. To God be the glory. I've had the opportunity of going around, not just to other parts of the world. You find that where you see greens, there was a time in the United States where they had to bring in the military ordinance to settle litigation over which they call it the wetland debacle, where every spot that has a little patch of grass growing, there's a conflict as to what to use it for, land use. Relatives, the developers want it, farmers, crop farmers want it, livestock farmers want it. But all over northern Nigeria, from January to December, substantial part of northern Nigeria remains green. That is massive money. You have places in northern Nigeria that are still the way, like we are in the times of Adam and Eve, probation, nothing touched, no governance, nothing. It's still there. We keep talking about population. Yes, there's massive population in northern Nigeria, but so do you also have massive empty spaces not being used anywhere in northern Nigeria. You travel the length and breadth of northern Nigeria. You see, between one village and the other, I've done these travels. You see open land not being used. So in terms of capacity to feed yourself, it's not lacking. It is the capacity to add value to what you already have. We have hydrocarbon. There's no part of Nigeria that has as much sun and as much wind to generate energy, to drive agriculture as northern Nigeria. What are we doing with it? There's no part of Nigeria that has as much fertile land to feed its people, to feed the whole of Nigeria, to feed the whole of West Africa, as in northern Nigeria. What are we doing about it? This is not optics. This is not phantom. These are realities on ground that we need to face and stop being in denial about it. It is not the man in Ilela who is the enemy to the thief in maybe Taraba or Sokoto or Benue. The man in the Biraman in Plateau is not an enemy to the Maguzawa in Katsina. Absolutely not. These are people who are earning a living. But the political class has weaponized their ignorance, their poverty, their despondency to continue to keep them where they are. And I think that until we begin to face the truth, look at it straight in the face, and tell ourselves that we have derailed as a people, as a country, as a region, and come to that stark reality that we have failed. A lot of the people that are running the show today are beneficiaries of a monolithic North that gave them everything. I listened to Professor Ango Abdullahi about 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, and he said there's nobody in northern Nigeria today that is willing, but I add, beyond the willingness, that has the moral clout to face the rest of this country, to face the rest of the people and say, I want to provide leadership. Where did we get to that point where there's nobody who can chest out and say, I want to provide leadership? Because they've lost the moral ground.
Absolutely, because
they've lost the moral ground.
When you look at the governors, the ministers, past ones in the north, they all enjoyed scholarship.
They did.
So
beyond scholarship,
what are they giving
back
the
to society?
Gen Zs and the millennial children?
They're giving them frustration. They're giving them despondency. They're giving them enemy feeling. And today, more and more people, not just in northern Nigeria, because as an expression of leadership failure, they were creating a generation of angry Nigerians who do not think that they owe this country anything, because the country has not put anything in them. The only thing you've given them is geography, is land to walk on. That is not sufficient. You need to give them hope. You need to give them the desire to do things right and do the right thing. The leadership is not doing that. We have a spiral circle of failed leadership in the country, political and economic leadership.
So when therefore a Liberty media organization has TV, has radio, newspaper, I hope, when it visualized and envisioned that, look, there has to be a redefined North.
That's it.
And in trying to do all of that, let's begin to look at, in terms of this communique, what is the stand of this summit?
Okay. I'll say three things. One, we have decided that we're going to continuously, without continuously conscientize not just the Nigerian space, I mean the northern space, but the entire Nigeria, mainstream Nigeria, as to the fact that the North must control its narrative. It must control it, it must create it first, and then control it. The North should not continue to wait for others to define it. The North must re-narrate itself and therefore re-govern itself. Because you need to reclaim the narrative. That's number one. That means you need to reimagine. And for you to do that, you must do it intentionally and deliberately, without apology. So we are going to start what we call the Abuja Compact. This compact is a strategic, and you can also fact check me. What we want to start is historic to the extent that there's none like it within the African space, where the media moves from being a support structure to becoming an infrastructure for perception, where you are intentionally stepping into the governance matrix to make demands, to demand accountability, to demand transparency, and to demand action that is people-driven. So we're going to start a compact. And we're also going to start a liberty index, governance index, competitiveness index, where we're going to start rating the governance space within northern Nigeria, and hopefully extend it to larger Nigeria. How competitive is northern Nigeria in relation to the rest of the world? I think we've come to a point where the North and other parts of Nigeria should begin to raise the bar. Let it not be that I'm looking at myself within the myopic micro perspective of just the Nigerian space. The North has the capacity to look at itself within the global space. It does have that capacity, because in the whole of Africa, it is the only regional bloc that has a number, the amount of resource that is in one place. Okay. People, natural resources, rare earth materials, practically everything.
Yes. We have actually almost ending this, but not without looking at it this way. When governors from the North will simply entrench other media organizations in other regions, in fact, empower them,
I think they should stop.
And leaving the North without anything.
They should look at themselves in the face.
How does the media itself in the North ensure a reversal of this? Because this has been the stand of the Northern Nigerian Broadcasting Media Association. They've been calling on this, where they struggle to make governors to be heard in their own states, but they take the adverts to some other places.
But I also think that this is not about going to the governors with a begging bowl. You must go with authority, with credibility, with assertiveness. When you find media players in the northern space going there with a beggarly disposition, when you find that they're not going with what their approach to it is not evidence-driven, it is not data-driven, it is not empirical, you don't go to ask for anything without knowledge. I suggest that the northern media space should begin to retune itself to be knowledge driven, to be data driven, to be empirical, to go for evidence, to drive its credibility, to earn its credibility. You must go to the table as a credible, with credibility into the conversation.
I mean, don't you think, like the French will say, déjà vu?
Déjà vu.
We've already seen it, nothing new. So it's like the northern guys, media organization, okay, we're going to, no, we've already seen them. We see finish, as they say in Nigeria. When they feel, oh, there are big, more credible guys down south there, let's patronize them and more. Whereas the man in there, Radio Yobe, Radio Meduguri, Radio Lafia Dole, and all that, these are people, they know it, they feel it, they see it, they live with it. But the governor still jump over there.
Because the media players in northern Nigeria, unlike the way they were when they had authority, they had assertiveness, when beyond the mechanics of journalism or media production, had moral authority. Today, the regular we glamorize what just doesn't make sense. How do you explain a northern media player seeing a blatant, crass murderer taking life and you're glamorizing such a person? Why will the northern media player call a Boko Haram terrorist or insurgent from any part a bandit? Why will you call a bandit a commander? Commander is a legitimate legal title of a legitimate legal formation. Why will you call? So we're not going there with knowledge. We are going there as passers-by, as people who just glide, whatever comes. Why are we talking about simple gossips? We're looking at one musician, one Jarumi or Jaruma or whatever within the film industry, and we're looking at what they wear, how they say, whether they're married or not. What does that add? What does that bring? Does that bring food to put food on my table? We're not telling stories that connect with the people. We're not humanizing our stories. When you see a pothole that has caused an accident, you are episodic about it. You just report that an accident has happened and this pothole caused it. Who said that accident happened the moment that vehicle ran into that pothole? Why are you not putting it in context? That pothole may have happened because contract to build that pothole was compromised 2-3 years back. Why are you not holding people accountable? When you have local governments, where, like Obasanjo just said, they are sharing center, we are not questioning the man who is supposed to be running local government. There was a time I went to Zamfara, I went to Yargalma, I went to Anka, Bonkuyum, when there was this lead poisoning. We went to Bonkuyum local government. We stayed there for a while. We never saw the chairman of the local government. And then we came back. I did some big story. And they were asking me that I was running down that place. It is not about running down. It's holding people accountable. When you find a local government chairman or a governor who is not doing the right thing, but because you have access to that governor and he gives you some pittance, 1 million, 500,000, 200,000 naira, you sing his praise. Every local, I'm not saying disrespect them. Show them respect. But show them respect is reciprocal. You don't respect me for what I do, why should I throw away my dignity? So the northern journalist, the northern media man must also know his self-worth. It's not arrogance. It's about knowing your self-worth, defining the interest and aligning that interest, connecting it with the existential realities of the people. This is not politics. This is where the media meets the people. And we must get to that point. That is what reimagining the North is all about. A media that holds itself accountable, that is responsible for what it does and accountable to the people for what it does. But in addition to that, holding every other player within the governance space accountable for what they do. Not patronage.
Talking of a political analyst, a communications expert, a journalist, and I don't know whether he's also a preacher. If I allow you, we'll continue and continue. This is Dr. Mahmood Tunde Hassan. I want to thank you for coming to Third Eye Africa TV.
It's a pleasure. I really enjoyed being here, Mr. Benjamin.
Yes, even though you have changed my name. My name is Ben from Benedict, from
Okay.
Benediction.
Benedict.
But I take it because we move on.
Mr. Benedict, thanks for having me.
Proudly Nigeria. Are you proud of the Nigerian military?
Exceedingly proud of them.
Are you proud of the Nigerian passport? Green.
I've gone round with it. It has taken me round, has brought me back, and I'm so proud of it.
Truly Nigerian.
It's a pleasure. It's
Thank
a
you
pleasure.
very much.
It's a pleasure.
Like we do in my village, I keep it here.
To the heart.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. My name is Ben Adam Shaman, and of course, the program is Democracy in Action. We came to you through Third Eye Africa TV. Keep watching us, keep following us, listen to us also via many of the radio stations in Abuja, Jos, Zamfara, and Kebbi State. We all are there for you. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and bye for now.